With more on his story, here's Stormy Buonantony.
Well, and Sean, you mentioned Bryson Barnes starting despite being in the transfer portal, which is pretty rare. Typically, when we see a player enter the portal, it's because he wants to go. And coaches have no problem saying, okay, if you want to be out the door, we'll let you go, cut ties, and be on our way. That is so far from the sentiment around Bryson Barnes.
Stormy, they need some style points to get ready for Tennessee coming into town next.
Exactly, Beth. So naturally, no better time or place to try to get a few things corrected here. And when we spoke with head coach Billy Napier this week, he was very clear about his priorities for this team. It was response and execution.
3 games since that one in the playoffs that they have scored 30 or more points and ended up on the losing end of those games. So to say that your defensive system is working and that you're confident in that system is the delusion is getting to his head a little bit.
I bet him last week and I was a loser, but I stand by a lot of my feelings still. They grade out on Pro Football Focus as the better team overall, and yes, in the XFL, we have PFF grade. Hines Ward said that they are hungry for payback.
John Trey, we had the little creativity there with the double pass, and who better than the high school quarterback? But everybody over here is talking about the ball fluttering. You're going to put up with this?
Hey, it was a wobbler. I can say that. It was a wobbler, but they're not going to say it was a wobbler in the newspaper. It was a touchdown pass.
How much fun is it that you have an offensive coordinator that lets you air it out like that?
It was fun.
How about the game in Buffalo? Low total with all of the weather we know that we're going to see there. And the Steelers now with the injury to TJ Watt go from getting 7.5 points to double digits at this point. And as I look at the screen, the total has ticked down even from 36 now to 35.5. What's your approach?
You said that after 3 games in a tough non-conference schedule, you would know who this team is. What have you learned about this group as you get set for conference play?
Well, I know they're tough.
Before this season started, there were a lot of people that said Northwestern might not even win a game this year. How did this group of guys stick together and not only prove those people wrong, but prove yourselves right?
You know what? They just stuck together. They believed in one another.
After that interception, Jaden Mayaba was visibly frustrated, upset. He slammed his helmet down on the ground, and his OC, Brennan Marion, came up to him and said, hey, man, don't make a bad play worse. Reset, move on. And you guys know, even as a redshirt freshman, the way that the coaches talk about him, he's very mature. He did set in. He walked up and down the sideline, told his guys, stay in it. And it looks like they've recalibrated to get this drive moving.
St. Louis has come from behind in their first 2 wins in the fourth quarter. Think they could potentially do that again?
So it's very, very possible, but important for bettors to also keep in mind that this DC Defender squad has also pitched back-to-back fourth quarter shutouts. So who do you have more faith in? You talked about it, the offensive struggles that they have had. He said it might be the worst half of football offensively that they've played all season long, and they've got to get it fixed. And said of his quarterback, Bryson Barnes, before this game, that this was going to be his game. So when I asked him if there's any chance that you might pull him out and make a change with Luke Batari waiting in the wings, he said, not right now, but you don't count anything out.
Confidence that Ben DiNucci has, even coming off the turnover. I asked him earlier this week, when you do have instances in games where you're down or you're turning the football over, how do you always find a way to rebound? And he said, well, being confident helps. And that's what we've seen time and time again today. The finger guns, him revving up the crowd, the energy that he has after he scores. And he told me this is the most fun that he has had playing football in such a long time. He loves playing in the XFL, how it breathes new life into not only his career, but a number of players in this league.
Big night for him.
Well, real quickly, we have a reaction to that kick.
Oh, it's terrible. Coach Mack about to get on his tail, I swear. He probably down there fussing right now.
I know how frustrated you were with yourself after that last drive. How'd you make up for it there?
Well, me and Brandon connected it.
Coach Signetti, when you look up at the scoreboard and you see 15 minutes separates you and your team from a goal that you've had all season long, what goes through your mind?
I want to play the fourth quarter so we can say we played a 4-quarter game. Make a national statement, finish 11-1.
This St. Louis team has been the talk of the XFL with 2 of the most exciting finishes of this young season. What's the key to starting the way you guys have finished these last couple weeks?
Yeah, just trying to get in a rhythm early.
You had confidence that regardless of what was at stake today, your players were going to show up. How did they deliver?
Oh, they delivered. They finished.
I'm calling it right now. Career year for Crosby. He's going to be a top 5 producer at the position. Last season, I know when you look at the numbers, just had 8 sacks. So obviously below the double digits, he's going to need to cash this ticket. But he also led the NFL in a number of categories that are extremely important for this bet.
when it comes to underlying stats. A league best 82 quarterback pressures, 30 quarterback hits, led the NFL in hurries as well, was 10th in pass rush win rate. I think those pressures start to pay off. Those 8 sacks bump to at least 11 in my mind. I see this being more of an 11 to 14 sack total range. Also, if you're feeling frisky, 22-1 to have the most sacks in the NFL this year.
There is a saying in the betting community that good teams win, great teams cover. And the Houston Roughnecks have been a great team, and it all started week 1 when they were a 3.5-point favorite against this Orlando squad. Oddsmakers had no idea how good they'd be. That 21-point win, still the largest margin of victory of any game this season. Week 2 favored by 4.5. They beat Arlington 23-14. And then this past weekend handled business again for San Antonio. Needed to win by 5. They got 9. Flying high into tonight, just like John Trey Kirkland in that touchdown celebration. Roughnecks 3-0 straight up and against the spread. They're cashing tickets left and right. Average margin of victory 13. And they are well on their way here. Minus 24.5 on the live line, you guys.